Hello everyone, this is Simon Sanchez, aka Peanuts. You know me on killtilt.com and I'm very excited to make this video with you, Jared. Hi.
Simon, good to talk to you. I'm very excited as well.
Yeah. So we decided just to promote the book, The Mental Game of Poker. So I translated at least the first version.
Yeah, I'm very excited you did. I mean, it was a great email to get from you. I think almost 6 months ago now, and it's we kind of slowly got this job done. But I'm excited that a French version is going to be available for French speakers to actually be able to read the book in their native language and enjoy it. So I'm excited.
I am too, and so we decided to prepare 5 questions about the book, the mental game, main leaks people can go through mental issues. I will start maybe just right now with the first question.
Yeah, fire.
So you had the time to read and to think about this. The first one is a lot of poker players are actually struggling to make a lot of volume. I don't know if it's the right accent in English. Sorry, by the way.
Yeah, no, that's correct.
So a lot of poker players are struggling to make a lot of volume. Why is that? And what should they do to improve this skill, according to you?
This is a very, very common problem. In fact, Chapter 7 on motivation goes into a lot of depth about it. Look, poker players like freedom. They like the ability to be able to play poker when they want. And sometimes that freedom takes them into watching TV and doing other things that are more fun sometimes than having to play poker, or especially if it's their job, being able to put in, a longer grind of hours. So I think the idea of motivation can be fairly complex. I think one of the most underknown reasons why poker players don't get in enough volume is because they underestimate just how stressful playing poker is, especially if you're playing professionally. And even if you're playing as an amateur semi-professionally, the game is very intense. I mean, no other profession, well, very, very few professions, are you basically making your paycheck.
Yeah.
You get paid by a salary, it comes due every day, or at least, if you get commissions or whatnot, but in general, you're not showing up to work with the chance of actually losing money that day.
That's right.
So the amount of pressure that poker puts you under, I think people underestimate. And as a result, there are times where they're lazy, but what they really need is just a break. And a lot of poker players, they spend a lot of time thinking about poker. They play poker every day, even if it's just for a couple hours. They're sort of just constantly immersed in it. And on some level, that's a good thing because it allows them to learn a lot. They play at a better level. But then there are times where they can get lazy because they're actually a little bit burned out. And that burnout can happen because they're just not appreciating how stressful the game can be.
Yeah, many times people think, I don't know if in English we say this, but discipline, A lot of people think the league is about discipline, and you say that it's more, we don't have pleasure when we play, and we are really stressed and sometimes burned out. And for you, the discipline is another topic? How much this is related to?
Yeah, discipline is another topic. So, essentially, your goals help to define the direction of your motivation. So what I mean by that is, some players are motivated to be the best in the world. Some are motivated to make a second income that they can use for vacations. Some are motivated just because they love the game. And so everybody has their own goals and motivations. So your goals help to define your motivation, and then your motivation helps to determine your discipline. Discipline, you don't want to be too disciplined. You don't want to be sort of too constrained for what is required to achieve your goals. That's not fun.
Yeah.
So essentially you need to have your discipline match your goals. And basically if you're not achieving what you want in poker, then you have to look at discipline as one potential flaw. You also may have to look that there may be competing motivations. In that 7th chapter about motivation, I talk about something called conflicting goals.
Yeah.
Some people have the desire to be respected, the desire to prove to others that they're great. They have the desire to make money easily. And so if you have those motivations, then they're going to take away from your ability to be as disciplined as you need to be,
Yeah.
and to be able to get in the volume that you want.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Okay, and just to keep it short, I will ask you the second question. So it's about, Jared, could you tell us what is, according to you, of course, the biggest mental differences between professional sports, I'm talking about like tennis, golf, football, and
Yep.
poker?
Yeah, I mean, the element of variance is part of all of these sports or games, but in poker, it is by far the biggest factor. It's almost an entity in and of itself that I think is so big that it has to be thought of. You almost sort of have to think about having the mental skill of understanding variance as a separate skill. You know, in golf and tennis and in football, there's small amounts of luck and variance that exist. And obviously, it's better for players to kind of understand that, be able to deal with that when it happens. But because it is such a big factor in poker, it really needs to be looked at as a mental skill in itself. So the skill of recognizing variance, the skill of being able to see when you're getting good luck, when you're getting bad luck.
Especially when you're getting good luck, no? Because people tend to forget when they get lucky.
Exactly. That skill of recognizing the good stuff helps to balance out your viewpoint on what's happening, and that's ultimately what this skill is really about. Because poker gives you inaccurate feedback. It's not like many other games. If I have a dominance over somebody else in terms of skill in golf, like I'm gonna win every single time we play. My father, we started playing golf around the same time. He has never beaten me at golf. Beat me at tennis because I was younger, but he had more skill. But he never beat me in golf. And he never will. I mean, at least unless I get injured severely. But in poker, that skill differential doesn't always play out that way. And so being able to recognize variance helps you to better understand what's happening. You understand your edge a little bit better. And so that's why I think that's the most important mental skill. And I also think that the mind takes on a whole nother level of importance in poker, because you almost have to think about your decision-making ability as a poker player being similar to, let's say, a golfer's golf swing or a tennis player's swing, if their technique to making decisions. Obviously you make decisions in those sports as well, but they tend to be more reactionary. In poker, your mind is not only where you're making the decision, but it's also where you're executing that decision.
Yeah, you're talking a lot of the time, like you compare the mind to a muscle, in fact.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very important, I think. You can train this muscle, your mind, like your arm.
And if you don't, then it's going to weigh on your ability to make good decisions. So as we were talking earlier about, the stress of playing poker, well, that stress can cause your mental muscle to get weaker, and then as a result, you're going to make poorer decisions because your mind is not as strong.
Exactly. Okay, thank you. So the third question is, if you have to give only one advice, and only one, to a poker player who wants to improve his mental game, what would you tell him? And what direct action can he take to see results as soon as possible? Like maybe warm up, cool down, writing a journal, hiring a coach. A lot of time people ask me this: what can I do right now or tomorrow to start to improve my mental game?
Yeah, it's a hard question, because if you were to ask a technical coach that, they're going to give you an answer that says, well, it depends on your game. I mean, who are you? Like how do you play at what level? So it's not a simple answer, not a simple question to answer.
That's why you have the questionnaire to know people,
Certainly, yeah. All my new clients fill out a very detailed questionnaire. I get a lot of details about them before we even begin talking. And when I answer questions like this, I'm often asking follow-up questions to kind of better understand what they're asking for. And I would say too that if you are the person who is constantly looking for that one piece of advice that they can immediately use, you're actually kind of like not really appreciating how dynamic and how skill-based the mental game is, and poker. These like magic bullets just don't exist.
Yeah.
But I will say that if you had to do one thing, it would be the cool down. And I would say that because essentially after you're done playing, poker is still very fresh in your mind. And so in that cooldown, what you'd want to do is take notes about the mental and technical mistakes that you make, so that you're just having a better understanding about what's going wrong in your game. You know, it's generally easier to fix things that are wrong because you can spot them; they're more obvious, than it is to figure out what something new is to improve on. Some of these mental or technical leaks, once you pay attention to them more closely, you'll be able to fix them yourself.
Yeah.
You know, people are generally intelligent and they have some awareness of themselves. But if you try to fix something and you can't fix it, well, then that's when you go for help with a coach or read a book like mine or like our translated book.
Okay, thanks. In fact, making the cooldown is like tracking, like you have a tracker for your poker skills, technical poker skills. You can track your mental game by rating and making a little bit of a cooldown after each session, and you have an history, month after month after month. You can read your cooldown, all your cooldown, daily cooldowns, find some leaks and fixing issue. I think this is really important. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah, and one of the reasons it's so important, and it's one of the reasons I have people fill out a very detailed questionnaire before, is because people's memories are generally bad. There's a lot of flaws in our memory, and if you believe that your memory is always accurate, then you're in for trouble. So taking notes helps you to kind of remove a little bit of that flaw, so that you can really be a little bit more objective about the real mistakes that you need to fix.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
The next question is about you, more about you and your coaching, Jared. You coach a lot of poker players, and what is interesting, a lot of high-stakes players. Many of them are really successful. Did you notice some quality or skills they kind of all share in common? Maybe it's like being really self-disciplined, fearless, passionate, always working hard, stuff like that.
Yes, and I think you nailed that. You hit on several of them.
Yeah.
There is a distinct difference about like the elite poker players that I work with and the ones who are playing, mid to low stakes. They seem to have like a hunger, like such a deep desire to improve that they're willing to do more. They go into subtle details. They'll put in hours of extra work.
It's like a gut feeling, no? Like an instinct or a gut feeling.
An instinct, yeah. They're just, yeah. It's like when I say the word hunger, like the instinct to eat. It's that much of a part of them. They have this instinct to just get better and to do everything that they can to be successful. That often translates into them doing more sessions with me. More regularly, where we're going into such very, very detailed nuances. I mean, that's not appropriate for everybody. I mean, everybody, people have different goals. And I would say too that they often also have a genuine interest and love for the game. I think there are a lot of people who like poker, but they may not love it to the same level. I like poker, but I love golf. I mean, I don't know that I would ever love poker the same way that I do with golf. It fits me better. So, if you're not one of those people, it doesn't mean that you still can't be successful.
Yeah.
But you may not be able to reach, the very top of the game as a result of that.
Yeah, and I think it might be a problem because a lot of time, in my experience, people can get desperate because they only dream about playing high stakes. And it's about they don't have the right goal for themselves, no.
Right.
So they start to see their goals like, oh, I won't be the best poker player in the world. I have nothing to do with this game, and I want to stop. And they start to tilt, to burn out, to get desperate. And so you talk a lot about goals in your book, and I think it's really, really important to know what you want.
I think you make a good point. Exactly. You want to make your goals. At the same time, it's okay to dream, but they have to still be realistic. I mean, if you're playing micro stakes and you dream of playing high stakes, that's great. But make sure that your goal is not just to be playing high stakes, and that's all you're thinking about. You really have to be thinking about the process of how you actually climb that mountain.
Exactly. Thanks a lot. 5 and last question. Online poker players spend a lot of time home, of course, in front of their screen. They often get to bed late. They watch a lot of TV shows and with a lot of stress. You told about that.
Yeah.
You're talking about this in your book, and I think it's really underestimated. According to you, what should they do when they are away to the table to vent? Like spending more time with friends, maybe exercising more, cooking, anything like that. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I would say all of the above, but I do think that the key piece here too is that cool down. So another point for the question you asked earlier is that the cool down also provides like a break between poker and all that stress and all the things that come with it and the rest of your life, because the mind needs to recover. You don't want to just kind of be breaking down your mind so that every day you play you come back like a little bit weaker. You want to come back stronger, more knowledgeable, more capable. And in order to do that, your mind needs rest. Just like your body needs rest from physical exercise.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're constantly pushing yourself, your body and your muscles will break down. So the same with the mind. So the cool down helps to make the evening or the morning, whenever you're having free time on a daily basis, more enjoyable, because poker is out of your mind. Now, if random things pop into your head, you can certainly write them down, but what you don't want to do is just keep your mind kind of grinding on poker long after you're done, because that's actually burning up energy. Now, it could turn into insight. You might learn things, which is good, but you want to be able to have that time be a little bit more controlled and contained so that you can have more free time. Now, in that free time, yes, hobbies, do things that you enjoy, do things that you love to do, so that it really does give you a chance to kind of replenish your energy. It could be reading books. It could be going out with friends. Whatever you enjoy is a good thing. I mean, and I recommend in the book, as a minimum, that you take 1 full day off per week from poker. Now, you might have a big rake race. Can't do it. You got to play 2 weeks straight. Fine. That's not that's not a problem. I'm not saying you have to take 1 week off every day for the rest of your life, or 1 day off per week for the rest of your life. But on average, that's what you want to do, so that you give yourself a real chance to recover. And I think when poker players begin to do this more often, they have greater clarity when they come back to play. They find that it's easier to make corrections about some of the things that they were working on mentally or tactically. So that day off, it's not like a waste of time.
Yeah.
It's actually valuable, and because you're increasing mental energy.
Yeah. You gain some hunger when you stop playing. You have the will to play. The desire comes back sometimes too.
Exactly. Yeah, I think poker players want to be able to say, okay, well, here's my hourly. So if I'm taking 2 hours to go, out for dinner, not only does it cost me, $100 or €100 to go out, but it's costing me, my hourly. So they don't want to do it. They don't want to take the time off. But what they don't realize is that built into their hourly is the time off. Yeah. So really, if you were being smart about calculating how much money you make from poker, you would not average it simply based on the hours that you play. You would average it based on the hours that you are awake, or that you are alive. So because the other hours that you're sleeping, that you're doing things away from the table, like studying, that counts for your hourly. Now, if you're wasting time, where you're just dicking around and watching TV mindlessly, that's a problem that needs to be solved. And yes, that is actually decreasing your hourly. But the things that are really valuable, like exercise and sleep and preparing good meals, like these are all things that kind of feed into your ability to make the money that you can. Because if you took them away, then your hourly would be significantly affected by that.
Yeah, that's right. Just little last thing, you talked about writing down if you have a lot of thoughts in your mind after stopping and cooling down. If you have to write sometimes to just create a bridge between poker and reality and real life. Sorry. So
yeah, exactly. That it kind of just gets stuff out of your head. The mind, when it's so full of information, it's like sometimes the thoughts that are kind of going through your mind are just your brain like digesting that information, almost like the stomach digesting food. And so if you help it by writing, then you can separate from poker a lot easier and be able to free your mind from those thoughts.
Yeah, exact. So thanks a lot, Jared. I'm really excited about the release of the book.
Yeah,
I hope
too.
you all will enjoy it. I'm sure. In fact, I know you will answer too on Kill Tilt, on question and the community they ask you.
Yep.
So if you enjoyed this video, enjoy the book, you can go on Kill Tilt and see more content. I'm sure maybe we'll see a mental game of poker too someday. So
Yeah, well, if we get a good response from the French community and with the first book, I mean, the second book is ready to be translated.
Yep.
So yeah, it would be great.
Okay, it's fine for
All
me. Do you have anything to add or?
No, that's it for me for now, and I'm just excited to see what people think of the book, and yeah, can't wait.
I am too. So thanks a lot, Jared, for answering all these questions. See you later.
Take care, Simon. Good to talk to you.
Okay, bye everybody.